Okay, you guys should be able to hear me now. That was a user error. I apologize, and I guess I'll start over. What I was saying is, this is my favorite EDC knife of all time, or was my favorite EDC knife for all time. This is the F3 Compact, and right now you could actually get it for quite cheap if you go to Curtis Customs website. This is a Magna Cut blade. It fits really, really well in the hand, and it is very, very slicey. And I have only found one knife. Thank you guys for letting me know. I've only found one knife that I like better than this. But for the past couple weeks, I have rotated out, and I've been using this quiet carry uh, knife. It's called the Catch, and it has a integral looking back spacer, and then it's very, very, very nice detent in action. The blade is very wicked looking. That is actually what attracted me to it in the first place, was this blade profile. But it fits quite good in the hand, and with the jimping, when you're cutting with this, it's a very, very nice lockup. And you can do precision cuts with this very, very easy. It's not too expensive. I do recommend this knife. However, it is not my favorite of all time. We will get to that, but this is just what I've been carrying over the past 2 weeks. And if you can pick yourself up when they're still available, and I do recommend this knife. My favorite knife of all time right now is Oz Machine Company's Roosevelt. This may not be attainable for everybody because you have to win a lottery in order to purchase it, unless you go on the secondary market like Blade Binge, and then they really jack up the price. And I do not recommend buying it for that price. Also, there is a risk if you're buying this from the secondary market that you get ripped off. The and what I mean by that is the knockoffs have gotten so good lately. My friend got me this one. It's really hard to tell the difference. You have to really take it apart to see the inside and the guts to really know the difference if you have never handled one before. If you have handled one before, you can tell it by the action. But the knockoffs are getting so good. This is titanium and high quality blade steel. It cuts. It's also drop shut action. But he even got the if you can see closely, there's there the Oz Machine logo is almost exactly the same. So buyer beware. You can get easily ripped off now with the if you buy from the secondary market. But if you get a chance to ever use one of these, pick them up, purchase one, and you're willing to spend the money, I highly recommend it. It's quite a good knife. The other knife that I recommend is also a Curtis Custom. This is the F3 LT. And if you like a little bit bigger knife, this is also one that I couldn't live without. I would never give up this knife. This is mid-tech, drop shut, really good detent, and you can pick and choose your colors. This is shipwreck green on shipwreck green, but I also like this blade profile, really light, good choke up, titanium, and then this is also in Magna Cut. So I'm a big fan of Curtis Custom, and then also another really big fan of Olamic cutlery. I do have quite a few Olamic cutlery knives, and if you want a really good high quality knife, I would choose, and you can spend a little bit of money. Olamic cutlery is the way to go. and you are probably familiar with a couple of the models. Let me get them out here. Uh, this is the Wayfarer 247, and this is a hand carved Nightmare Before Christmas themed a knife from Olamic Cutlery. This is S90V blade steel, but very, very smooth. A drop shut action. I love the handle profile, and this has a very hydraulic feel to it when you're using it. It's very, very satisfying to open and close, and it just gets better over time. This is once it breaks in, it doesn't start deteriorating. Once this breaks in, it just gets better and better over time. And that's true with all the Olamic cutlery. It does have a little bit of a late detent, so it's not as quite drop shutty as, let's say, like your Koenig areas, if you're familiar with that. But it does have a really nice hydraulic feel to it. Similar and better than the Chris Reese Sebenza. So let me get out this is the Koenig areas. And so a really nice knife as well, but you can see how drop shut that is. And I compare all my knives to this as far as when I'm looking for like value and material and then the quality of craftsmanship. And if it can come close to this, as far as what I'm looking for, drop shot controlled action, I tend to keep the knife and I like it. But so it's not that kind of drop shut action, but it is in its own right really, really good. So that's the Wayfarer 247. The other models that they have are the Boker, and Olamic Cutlery also makes really wicked lanyard beads. So this one's a musician. They have one that looks like a steampunk there. And he has a little hole in his eye. The detail is just really, really nice on these. And then another one would be a skull with an owl. And you can get these at Olamic Cutlery. Really good detail. But back to the knife. So this is the Boker, and it is a front flipper. Really nice. I like the compact F3 a little bit better, but I still will carry this, especially if I just need a smaller knife where I'm going a little bit more concealed and compact, but very, very highly recommendable. And this is a very classy looking knife. All Olamic cutleries are classy looking, but these are the new variants that you can get. And you've probably never seen these before. I've searched all over YouTube. I could not find these anywhere. But this is the WTF-Ixed blades from Olamic Cutlery. And this has kind of I would say like a sheep's foot blade with a speed hole in it. But it's wicked looking. And I will start carrying this around my neck. And it has a nice mirror polish shine to it. And I will start carrying this as soon as I have some sheaths made. I have to custom make them, but this is really nice, not overpriced. Here's another one. This is more of a Warncliffe style, and I just think these are really cool, really nice, comfortable in the hand, very slicey, well done, and a really nice Damascus pattern. Then I have yet to see these as well. This is the Taco 4, and it has a Higo no Kami style profile, and this is like a Sanmai carbon Damascus. It's very comfortable in the hand. The material is I can't describe it to you. When you're holding this in your hand, it just feels luxurious, and it's very, very smooth, very pretty to look at. One of the more beautiful knives that I own. And this is the Taco 4. And I have searched YouTube, and no one else has them. So this is probably the first that you are seeing these. Also, if you go on their site, Olamic Cutlery, you can't find them unless you look at the Olamic table. And that is kind of where you get all their brand new stuff. You can auction on prototype production knives that are still in like still in prototype, and yeah, really cool knife. What else do I got here for you guys? You guys are interested in seeing a style of knife or a type of knife? I have over 200 knives, and the purpose of this actually was just to kind of go over my EDC daily carries. This is one that I highly recommend. This is the Knives by Nuge Wicket, and it's a really good neck knife for those of you that are just joining in. Another fun one, and what I can do is actually go by a price range or like a tier. If you're looking for like a mid-grade knife, and you can pick these up for really, really cheap, or you can do a little bit more expensive ones. This is the Kaiser Melita and S45 VN, and this is a medium to large knife. Very drop shut, it has like glass-like feel to it. And this is actually rivals the conic areas. And to me, that will always be the king of drop shut actions. But this is really fidgety, fun to open. It's very classy. I think if you were to pull this out in public, no one would freak out. And you could take it to a nice, classy restaurant. You could take it to work. It's not too expensive that it's like you would consider it like a safe queen. This is really, really fun to operate. I do like the polished DLC. You do not see very many companies doing that. And so that's what a polished DLC coating looks like. And they did a wonderful job on that DLC coating. And to date, I haven't seen another company do it like that. I see a lot of DLC coming around. If you're looking for budget. So I found the Swordmaster, and I'm a huge anime fan, if you can see in the background. Dragon Ball Z and One Piece are my favorite animes, but for $7 a piece. This is from the real Swordmaster, and you can pick up these assisted liner lock knives, and they are quite good quality for $7. I thought I'd be able to break them in my hand. I bought them just to see how bad they were, but there is no lock rock, blade play, lock stick. Out of the 4 knives that I got, only one of them was off-centered. So $7 a piece. I feel like they're gonna hold up a really long time. So there's that one. We got Zorro. They did a really good job on the graphics as well. What's another one? We have Monkey D. Luffy. And for $7, you cannot complain. Thoughts on the concept knives? I do like them. I think they're a good price for the money. I haven't had very many trouble. I don't have many concept knives, though. I've handled a lot, That's not concept though. This is the Kaiser. Hold on. Where is the concept knife that I have? Give me 1 second. I do not own too many because for a while I had this. I went through a phase where I would only buy USA knives, and then finally I started buying Chinese uh, knives. It'll pop up here if you stay on long enough. We'll get to a concept knife. The QSP Penguin, also a really good budget knife. People have complaints about this knife. The only complaint that people have is it does not have a pocket clip. But I think Americans are a little bit spoiled with that. Pocket clips are relatively new to knives, and Europeans do not have a lot of knives with pocket clips. They are still a little bit more traditional to where they carry a lot of slip joints, lockbacks, and fixed blades. So for a long time, I lived in Germany, over 13 years, 14 years, and I just got used to carrying knives with no pocket clips. And so for that to be a concern when I came here, like people would say, no, I don't like that knife. It doesn't have a working pocket clip, or it doesn't have a pocket clip. That doesn't ever play a factor into would I find a good quality knife or not. So this is a really nice lockback that I carried in Germany for a really long time, and because of that, I fell in love with Boker knives. But why do I say that? I say that because I recently picked up, where is it? This. And if you're on here watching, you probably know Metal Complex and you probably know the Excalibur. And I had bought this. I it took me 7 months to get this. I was one of the first ones that as soon as I found out that you could buy it and it was opened up by Kunwu, I put down my deposit and I bought this knife. So I do have problems and issues with this knife. It's beautiful. It's an integral. I like the Damascus, little nice Damascus backspacer. I like the way that you can spidey flick it open. The problems I have with it has really nice crowned spine. The issues that I do have with this knife though is the jimping. I feel like it's just for aesthetics. It's it's you can easily slide your fingers off of it and it doesn't lock you in place. The next issue everybody has with it is the pocket clip. You can't use it and it will tear up your jeans. And a lot of people are very upset about this pocket clip and they refuse to use this knife, or they'll say it's unusable because they can't use the pocket clip. And I was watching one YouTuber and he goes, if you can't use the clip, then it's not a knife in your pocket, and so it's just a knife in the drawer. And you can easily stick this knife in your pocket. You don't need the clip to use it. And so it's not a deal breaker for me. The issue I have with it is the detent is so strong that you can't use the thumb stud properly. And there you go. You can open it, but it indents your finger, and it should not be that strong. And when I first got into knives, I would have been afraid to adjust the detent, and I still haven't adjusted the detent yet on this one, but it should not be that hard to open to where you're hurting your thumb. And I don't have baby fingers, and it's not because I don't know how to use a thumb stud, and I'm not pressing too hard on the frame lock, making it more difficult to deploy. It's just a really difficult knife to deploy. And that's my main gripe with this knife and why I don't EDC it. So there is my 2 cent rant on that. Uh, if you want to spend a little bit more money, I would stay away. Let me see where it is from. And if you're also a metal complex watcher, are you watching the big names? This is the Shark Club, the Demco Shark Club. Everybody rants and raves about this knife. I do get it. It's a very slim looking profile, but it's also the quality control is not that good. I sent this in because the knife was not opening properly. It would grind and scrape when you use the when you try to deploy it. Even now, it it doesn't deploy open when you spidey flick it. You can slow roll it open just fine, but for the price, I do not think it's worth it. For less than half the price, you can go with the I think it's called a super lock. This is the shark lock, and I think this is the super lock from Civivi. And I like this knife way better. It's designed by Sneck. It's very easy to operate. And for the price, I would go with the Civivi on this one. Also, it is Chinese made. Some people have gripes about that. Sorry, I'm reading. Yes, I do have an OTF that I recommend. And it's USA made. And I can compare it also to a Microtech. But if you go with the Kershaw launch, I got this one in the what is that material called? The see-through material. I'll remember it in a second. But this is a really nice OTF MagnaCut blade. I like the profile. Ultim. It's in Ultim. And I like it way better than the Microtech. I'm forgetting the name all of a sudden. Also, that will come to me when I'm talking about another knife in 2 minutes. But this is my favorite OTF. Another one that I do recommend, it's downstairs. It's the USB from Boker. And I use that for my keychain knife. And by far the best keychain knife I've ever had. And that is also OTF, relatively cheap. But for the price, MagnaCut blade, Ultim, really good action. I have not yet seen this fail. USA made. I would go with the Kershaw live wire. This is the best, in my opinion, best OTF knife, bar none. And let's see here. What else do I have? A knife that I do not recommend is the Benchmade bug out. This is way too costly for the materials. There's a lot more companies that do the same thing better. They need to drop the price. This should be half the price of what it is. So I do not carry it. I do not use it. I did order some scales from Good Screw, and they're titanium dragon scales. I'm going to I should get them in this week, and then I'll do a live stream and I'll put the new scales on it, and I'll see if that changes my mind or how I feel about this knife. But right now, do not go with the Benchmade bug out. I have nothing against Benchmade. I really do like Benchmade, and one of my favorite knives, I think it's the most sentimental knife to me, is Benchmade. And I've had this knife for a long time. This is the Benchmade 42. And this was my first grill knife. And my wife bought me this for my anniversary, and I had her name engraved on this. It's very hard to find in the wild right now. I haven't seen one. If I ever do see one, I would actually pick another one up. But this is the most sentimental knife that I own. And It is a Benchmade. So it's not that I have something against Benchmade. I really like Benchmade, and I have a couple more Benchmade knives, but I do not recommend the bug out. If you like larger knives, so that's the thing. Do you like large knives? Do you like small knives? Do you like USA made? Do you not care about that? Yeah, the drop bear is a really good example. I would stay away from the bug out and I'd get the drop bear. It's half the price. It's just as good as quality, if not better. It's similar materials, and I would just stay away from the bug out for now. That's just my opinion. And when I get the new scales in, maybe I'll feel differently. But also, I just wouldn't waste the money. I think it's a lot of hype, and I succumbed to the hype, and I've regret buying this. What else do we have here? So, larger knives, not so much money. If you care about drop shot action, and that's what you're looking for, you don't have a lot of money to spend, but you want that drop shot feel of the conic areas, and beautiful knife. I would go with the Nitro OG, and it's about the same size as the conic areas. And it's beautiful in its own right. It might even be a little bit bigger, slightly bigger, if not the exact same size as the conic areas, and it's by Peter Carey. This won't break the bank. And if you like large knives, this is one that I highly recommend. It's also drop shut, very fidgety, fun knife. You got your flipper tab, and then you have a workable thumb stud, and you can even spidey flick this. So, and that's example of a really well done knife that is a thumb stud. So like I said, I don't have baby hands, and it's not that I'm holding the frame lock. It's just a poorly designed, and it might have something to do with the quality control with that. I'm still upset about this knife. But yeah, so that is one that I recommend. Another good one, if you like bigger knives, is the Chavez. This is the Scapegoat. This one is M390. It is a special variant of the Scapegoat, but you can get them for relatively inexpensive. This is, I would say, like a mid-tier knife. But for the price and quality, I highly recommend the Chavez Scapegoat. For the size, the weight to blade ratio is really good. So you have nice controlled action, and you feel like you have control over the blade. If it still has a controlled kind of drop shot feel to it, if the weight isn't overwhelming, and it's very fun. If you care about fidget factor, and you also don't care if it's USA made, Chinese made, I highly recommend. This is the Eutectic Liangmong Trinity. Very fun knife, and this still is 14C28N. It's not a bad blade still. It holds an edge. It's very light, so it's also, you feel like you have control over the blade and what you're doing. Also drop shut. And a really good front flipper. G10, I think these are G10 scales, and I can't remember what they call this green material, but this is the Eutectic Trinity, and you can find these for very, very cheap on the secondary market or buy it brand new from Blade HQ. The only problem with this knife and why I don't carry it is because of where I live, I can't have a blade over 3.5 inches, and this blade is a little bit bigger than 3.5 inches. So it is why I do not carry this every day. So that's the only thing holding me back. Other than that, if you don't have that knife law where you live, highly recommend this knife. Really good. I love the weight, love the way it feels in the hand, and this is a very fidget friendly knife. If also you don't care about USA made, USA made, and you have a little bit of money to spend, these are really beautiful knives. Titanium, buttery smooth. These are Katsu, and this is the ZP series, and some of the best mirror polish I've ever seen. The blade still is ZPD 189, which is a super high quality steel. It's the same steel they use on the Rockstead in Japan, and this is a fraction of the price of the Rockstead. Better action than the Rockstead. And this is really nice ergos, very nicely made. I think there's only 500 at a time. There is a couple more styles that are coming out. So there's that one, and then there's this one, and they have different themes. But I love that mirror polish. It's really beautiful to look at. So for what you spend and what you're getting, I highly recommend checking out Katsu knives. Let's see here. Oh, I forgot to show this one. This is another Olamic cutlery that I have. And this is a sword. This is a fun one. This is a titanium, frosted titanium, M390, a dagger style deep hollow ground blade. Only reason I do not carry this one, also mirror polish, is the knife laws. It's a blade over 3.5 inches, so I can't carry it. But Olamic cutlery makes really, really good knife. So this is a filed backspacer, and just the time it took to do all this work, and it's all done by hand, is just amazing. And this won't break the bank. So these are attainable grill knives. Curtis Custom, Olamic cutlery, attainable grill knives. Not probably so attainable grill knife is the Herman. This is the micro sting, but also one of my favorite. I like the pattern. It reminds me of a chessboard, and it sings if you listen closely. It has a distinct sound to it that Herman makes. And then this is M390. Yeah, this is M390, and also a super steel. But I love this blade. I don't use it very much. I usually use all my knives, but this is more of a safe queen. I don't have the heart to damage it, but I will take it out and carry it. And if I'm going somewhere fancy, I'll stick this in my pocket, and I know there's a 90% chance I don't have to use it. So that's a knife that is a little bit more expensive. This is the Herman Micro Sting. Also, another like more expensive one that I have is this slip joint. This is by Curtis Custom, and he designed this and made this for Tony Bowes. And Tony Bowes is a legend when it comes to slip joints. And he did this in old Westinghouse micarta for the scales, and it has great walk and talk. And it took some convincing for him to sell this to me, but he did end up selling me this knife, and I love it. It does not have a locking mechanism because it's a slip joint, but it feels like it does. Like I'm pushing really hard on this, and it barely moves. So it's very well made. And you can see how hard I was pushing on that. And it feels good in the hand. This is one of my favorite knives. And I'm a huge Curtis Custom fan. He does make other slip joints, but not like this. This is one of a kind. The ones you'll see him make are swaybacks, modern swaybacks. And this is also mirror polish. I really like the mirror polish blades. But this has a really great walk and talk too. Here's another slip joint, so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Like this one, if I were to press hard enough, like I could snap it down really easy. But this is from Boker, and this is number 58 out of 500 or 58 out of 1,000. And every year they do a special knife. And as I said before, I'm a big Boker fan of being in Germany. Fun fact, Boker started in the USA, and then they moved to Solingen, Germany. So originally these were American knives before Solingen, Germany popularized them. So Boker USA came before Boker Solingen. Here's another Boker. This is a Barlow style carbon fiber lava with Chad Nichols Damascus, and I believe Chad Nichols did this batch himself, which makes it a little bit even more special. But this is a titanium bolster, and then Chad Nichols Damask. And this is number 162 out of 500. 500 out of 1,000. But also a really fun knife to carry. Not very drop shut, but fun to open. Let's see what else I got here. Again, on the cheaper side, this is a fun one. I originally bought this for my wife, and then I stole it. And this is the Kershaw Iridium, I think. I think it's called the Iridium. And this is the Desert Warrior series. And I love this knife. This is really fun. Very fidgety as well. I haven't handled the Best Tech Constellation yet. But if you do end up getting it, you like it, let me know. I'm still growing my collection, and I like handling different new knives. And I'll look into it. Maybe I'll pick one up as well. But this is a fun one for relatively cheap. And you can actually feel the sprinkles on it. They're more brazed and very well done. And so I stole this one for my wife. That's the Iridium, I think, is what it's called. What else do I got here? This is a little bit older knife. I think it's one of the only automatics that I have. I have out the fronts, but I carried this one in Iraq with me. And this is a USA made Gerber, and it's very, very snappy. A button lock. And this is a beast. I wish Gerber would make more knives like this. This is a fun one. And I bet you if I took it apart, it would still have some sand from Iraq in it. But this is also one that I would never get rid of because of the sentimental value that it carries. And then we've been going for 45 minutes now. I will close this off with probably one of my... Oh, no. Actually, I got two more knives I want to show you real quick before I sign out. So I did say my favorite knife of all time was the Oz Machine Company's Roosevelt. And if you can get one, highly recommend it. For me, this is it. If I can only have one knife for the rest of my life, excluding the sentimental valued ones. Right now, the Rosie is it. But I did pick this up this week, and this is the XL variant. Yep. Also really cool. It's a little bit too big for my hands, but I do like the way it looks. I like the way it feels. I'm not really into extra large knives, but this is a beauty to look at, and I'll hold on to it. So I'm happy to own it. So if you like extra large knives, you could go with the Roosevelt. I did not know it was going to be so much bigger than this. I thought maybe twice the size. This is 2.5 times the size of the Rosie. So if you have a little bit bigger hands, you might enjoy this one better than the normal size. But this is one that I just got in. Also drop shut. Just the quality of these are amazing. Visually, they're really nice to look at, but these are done in-house by one person, and these are not mass produced, and so they do cost a little bit more money. So before I head out, please like, subscribe. It helps grow the channel, helps me to stay motivated to continue making videos, and I'll make videos really no matter what, no matter how many subscribers I have. But if you have the time, like, subscribe, I'd appreciate it. And this is a special knife to me. It's not so pretty looking, but it's special because this is the first knife I ever made by hand. And so I hand forged this knife, and I think for the first time I did a pretty good job. It's Damascus, and it's a apple seed style grind. So I like it. It's a really nice knife that I did. Oh, and then also for a fixed blade, I do recommend the Guardian 3 for EDC. So the two knives again are the Nice by Nuge for the neck, and then the Bradford Guardian 3. And this is also a really sweet knife. I like this. I carry this every day as well. So we've been doing this for 50 minutes now. I try to do this once a week. Please like, subscribe, and I have a bunch of videos on my website, EDC Knives Weekly, and I look forward to seeing you guys next week. And it was nice talking to you, Logan. Thank you for commenting and participating. See you around. Bye.